Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a deep dive into a topic you've given us.
That's right.
And today,
We're
we're
looking
looking at something you might not expect.
the Suretivian chicken shredder.
The Suretivian chicken
Look,
shredder
Amazon.
on Amazon. And we're going to use their listing to explore not just the product itself, but what it tells us about modern consumers,
Yes.
and maybe even our own kitchens.
It sounds simple,
Yeah.
but you'd be amazed how much we can unpack from something like this.
Exactly. So first off, picture this.
Yeah.
A large gadget, kind of like a manual food processor.
Okay.
The Suretivian chicken shredder has this twisting mechanism and a clear lid, so you can, watch the shredding happen.
And it sells for $22.99,
Okay.
which is in that sweet spot for kitchen gadgets. Not an impulse buy, but not a huge investment either.
Right. They're also playing up features like an anti-slip strip and an ergonomic handle.
Yeah.
I'm guessing those are trying to address pain points people have with other shredders. What do you think?
Absolutely. It speaks to a desire for control and efficiency in the kitchen.
Right.
No one wants a shredder flying off the counter or giving them hand cramps.
Yeah.
They even highlight that it's BPA-free and dishwasher safe, which are almost expected these days.
But that's like, those are table stakes for any new kitchen gadget now. But it makes you wonder, are we more concerned with convenience than ever before?
Possibly. But let's not jump ahead too far.
Oh.
I think it's worth looking at the actual product description before we analyze the bigger picture.
Good point. So I'm just going to read this verbatim from their About This Item section on Amazon. Upgraded chicken shredder. Compared with the old chicken shredder, we have changed the inner shred structure and strong anti-slip strip, more effective and saves time. We do not worry about sliding away from our kitchen desks again. The flower appearance design and the transparent lid add polka dots seem like a beautiful flower to bloom. You're getting all that.
It's interesting how they immediately compare it to an older version, implying an improvement. Right. And notice the language. More effective. Saves time. They're appealing to our desire for efficiency.
And then there's that bit about the flower appearance.
Yeah.
It's not just about function. They want it to look pretty on your countertop, too.
Exactly. They're tapping into that desire for our kitchens to be stylish as well as functional. It's not just a tool.
Yeah.
It's part of the decor. But they're not limiting themselves to just chicken, are they?
Right?
They mention pork, beef, even vegetables.
You're right. It's like they're trying to position it as this multi-purpose tool for any kind of shredding need you might have.
Yeah.
I guess that broadens their market appeal.
Definitely. And did you notice the specific mention of using it for pet food?
Oh, yeah.
That's a clever way to tap into another niche market.
Right.
Pet owners are always looking for ways to make homemade food for their furry friends.
That's so true. It's like they've thought of everything.
Yeah.
But how are people actually reacting to this thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's boasting a 4.6-star rating out of almost 8,000 global ratings on Amazon.
Wow.
That's a lot of people shredding.
That's a powerful form of social proof. When you see that many positive reviews, it's hard not to at least be curious.
And the reviews themselves are fascinating. People are saying things like, shreds chicken like a charm, so easy to use, saves so much time. It seems like it's living up to its promises, at least for most people.
But you mentioned some less positive feedback about the anti-slip strip, right?
Yeah, some reviewers found it slipped around a bit, even with the special strip. It makes you wonder if it's a design flaw or maybe people are using it on surfaces that aren't ideal.
That's a good point. It highlights how even a seemingly simple product can have its nuances and limitations.
And it makes me wonder, as someone interested in consumer trends, do you think this focus on convenience and efficiency is ultimately a good thing, or are we losing something in the process?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And one we'll definitely explore further. But before we do, I'm curious, how do you feel about all of this so far? Does this shredder appeal to you?
It's funny. We started with a chicken shredder,
Yeah.
and now we're talking about
Yeah.
the very nature of cooking.
Right.
Is it all about speed and efficiency now?
I don't necessarily think it's that black and white.
Okay.
Gadgets like this can free up time for other things,
Right.
like experimenting with new recipes or just enjoying the company of people you're cooking for.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's not about replacing skills,
Right.
but maybe shifting the focus.
Yeah.
But do you ever worry we become reliant on these gadgets? Like, what if the power goes out? Can we still shred a chicken?
That's the survivalist in me talking.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for having those basic skills as a foundation.
Right. I'm picturing generations of people before us laughing at our need for a dedicated chicken shredding device.
Oh, I'm sure they had their own versions of unnecessary tools.
Right.
Remember those avocado slicers that were all the rage a few years ago?
Oh, don't
Yeah.
remind me. I fell for that one. It's probably at the bottom of my gadget drawer right now with the egg separator and the garlic peeler that never quite worked.
We all have that drawer, don't we?
Yeah.
A graveyard of culinary aspirations.
Wow.
Speaking of which, you mentioned you had a gadget story you were going to share.
Oh, right. It involves an immersion blender.
Okay.
You know, those handheld ones?
Yeah.
I was skeptical at first. Another single-use gadget, right?
Oh, right.
But then I tried it. It was a revelation.
Really?
Suddenly, I was making creamy soups without having to transfer hot liquid to a blender,
Oh, wow.
whipping up smoothies in seconds.
Wow.
It was like magic.
There you go. There are some gadgets that just earn their place in the kitchen.
Yep.
It sounds like the immersion blender found its purpose in yours.
Absolutely. It's become one of my most used tools,
Wow.
which makes me think maybe the key isn't to avoid all single-purpose gadgets,
Right.
but to find the ones that truly fill a need and bring joy to cooking.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's about finding that balance between convenience and genuine usefulness.
So circling back to our chicken shredder, even if it's not something you personally need, we can appreciate that for some people it's a game changer.
Yeah.
It solves a problem and it does it well.
And that's ultimately what we look for in any tool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something that makes our lives a little easier, more efficient, or just more enjoyable.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for our listener who's been patiently following along on this deep dive into the world of chicken shredders and kitchen gadgets?
It means that perhaps we shouldn't be so quick to judge the tools people choose to use in their kitchens.
Yeah, it's like we've been saying. Maybe it's less about the specific gadget and more about what our choices say about our priorities in the kitchen.
Exactly, and it's a reminder that there's no one right way to cook. What matters is that you're finding joy in the process, whether you're using a high-tech appliance or a simple wooden spoon.
Right, and maybe sometimes those single-purpose gadgets free up our mental energy so we can be more creative with other parts of cooking.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off we each have to consider.
Definitely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of chicken shredders,
Yes.
I hope we've given you, dear listener,
Listener.
some food for thought.
Pun intended.
Maybe a little,
Okay.
but seriously, we started with this seemingly simple product and ended up talking about kitchen efficiency, the joy of cooking, and everything in between.
It's proof that even the most mundane objects can spark fascinating conversations
Yeah.
and reveal deeper insights about ourselves and the world around us.
If nothing else, hopefully this deep dive inspires you to take a look around your own kitchen with fresh eyes.
What gadgets do you reach for most often? Are there any lurking in the back of a drawer that you could rediscover or maybe even repurpose?
And maybe, just maybe, you'll find yourself appreciating the humble tools and techniques that have stood the test of time. Or, you could just buy that chicken shredder and call it a day.
No judgment here.
Yeah,
Whatever makes you happy in the kitchen.
that's the beauty of it all, isn't it? Cooking's a journey, and we each get to choose our own path.
And who knows, maybe we'll all be using robot chefs in the future.
Now that's a deep dive for another day. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of the Suretivian chicken shredder and all of the unexpected places it took us.
Until next time, happy cooking, everyone.